Hello, everybody in the chat, and I bid you welcome to the King's Court. I am King John. Welcome to the court, and we have our special guest, court jester, Jeffrey KomiKhan Henson. How you doing, sir?
Good, man. Good to be here. How are you doing tonight?
It is a wonderfully royal evening, a perfect time to have a fun little chat and to mess around, because all that I saw really on tonight were a bunch of auctions. And if you don't want to watch auctions, maybe you want to hang out with us instead.
Probably not. Probably won't have anybody. It's okay. Good to be on the court tonight.
Right? This is very different than the comic court where people are solving disputes. Here we are celebrating the community, and I'm having a little bourbon.
Is that some Jameson bourbon?
No, this is I've got a different brand. This is called Woodford Reserve. And I've had this bottle for a while, and I haven't really done much with it. I used to get this on occasion, so I'm going to have a little sip off that.
What's up, JP? JP's Budget Collecting. Good to see you. Mastodon Comics and Collecting. He says, what is this? Well, we're going to tell you a little bit about it.
This is why we invite Jeffrey to this thing. He watches out for the chat. He's in there for Perry, who jumped in, and Sam, who's, of course, always here. Sam, one of the most supportive guys in this community. Awesome guy. This is John After Dark. You could say that.
D-Rump, what's up?
Really what I wanted was to create a live stream that could happen irregularly on my channel, but that would really be a chance to just have a free-form discussion on a lot of different topics, and the opportunity for people in our community to jump on if you wanted to talk about a specific topic. Tonight, I really wanted to talk about the YouTube community in general, and about YouTube as a form of expression for what we want to do on our channels and how we use it to further whatever it is our channel is trying to accomplish. Jeffrey's the perfect guy to have on here because we both started right around the same time, and I think we have similar views on YouTube. So he's going to be a guy that kind of guides us through some of these questions and such. But if you would like to join in, you feel free to let me know, and I'll shoot you an invite. And yes, Alec, everything I do is irregular, but that's part of the fun of my channel. You never know what's going to happen. Let's see here. I see, YouTube is a creative outlet for people. Ooh, look, already people talk. Yes, John is drinking, so this is only going to last about 15 minutes before. Yes, JP.
Hey,
I don't last long. I'm going to crash and burn, but you get to watch. That's I wanted to share, too. I bought a comic the other day that I thought was really reasonably priced, and I'm excited because I think I'm going to end up slabbing this bad boy.
Yeah.
I finally completed my run. I got the first Cosmic Ghost Rider, issue 13. I've had the lenticular cover for a long time, and the one that's like Secret Wars with Doctor Doom, but then you turn it and it's Thanos in the same position.
Oh wow.
But I have not had cover A for forever. I've never had it.
Good to see you tonight, Alec.
So I was excited to pick this up, and it's going in my box here that the King has set aside of, do I want to spend money in slab books or not? And it's a slowly growing pile here, but
yeah, no joke, man.
Over time, perhaps over time.
Like I've got a few slabs that were either gifts or given to me. I haven't actually slabbed any myself. That's just, it's for me, it's just not affordable, right? But
and that's my issue as well.
I've got a box that I would just set aside that it's like one day would like to slab, like yeah.
And I think for me, I got a gift of like of money at the end of the school year from a group of my parents, and it's like, do I put this money into getting a CGC account and
sharing with
a handful of books? And I've talked to a few people like Alec about it and TJ, and do I slab a few books that I think I could sell and make some money that I could then use to slab some books that I love, that I want to protect or whatever?
Thanks, TJ. Appreciate it.
Oh, and TJ's in here. And D-Runk, thank you for coming along. So for those that have just joined, this is my free-form live stream. This is our inaugural one. Welcome to the King's Court. King John and Jester Johnfrey are here for you. And the topic for tonight is community, this comic community. And I want to start with like a broad question, and anybody in the chat can let me know their answers to this. But the question is pretty simple. Like, why are you doing this? Whether that means watching YouTube or creating content on YouTube or both, what is the reason why you do this? Jeffrey, do you have an answer for that?
Yeah, man. At first I started because, it's something that I have passion for. And I think that's the biggest thing is, do you have enough passion for it? And then second off was I had some time on my hands and was looking for a hobby and something to do. Um, part of it was to face the fear. Like, I have fear being on camera. Like, like, you might not believe that, but sometimes I get okay.
I think a lot more people in this community have that problem than you would believe.
Yeah, no, and that was the hardest thing. Like, I was afraid people were going to make fun of the quality of my videos, because when I started with a little crappy camera. I thought people were going to just be like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, because half the time I don't. Like,
but none of us, and that's the reality, none of us do, right?
Right, absolutely. I just get on here and I try to just say what I know, so it's not like I'm up here making stuff up, but like, I'm not the smartest guy when it comes to comic books. I'm not the most knowledgeable, but I was looking for an outlet and I was looking to face some fears, and what it turned into was just this crazy mess, like, but a good crazy mess. I met like some of my best friends I've met over the last year doing this. And that's the cool. I was just talking about that on, I think, Coast to Coast earlier, about the relationships I've made.
Which, by the way, was a great episode of Coast to Coast. If you missed it, it was really good.
Yeah, thank you. And that was the coolest thing. Like, I've gone to see you, hang out with you, and I've gone to meet Bueller and hang out with Bueller and Sam's Tangled Web. Like, like, Tony Sanders has become one of my best friends. JD, Alec Whitewell Comics, Bake the Snake, Comic Books NYC.
I know most of those guys. I don't know that Whitewell guy. I don't know.
Like, those are the coolest things, because we don't. None of us really live near each other. You're the closest one to me, and you're not. Yeah, you're close.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's not a lot of West Coasters either. So, like, if you notice, most of you guys are from Florida. Like, there's a lot of people on the East Coast, and it's just been cool to be able to reach out to people that otherwise never would you have known in your entire life. And like, it's been good, like, almost like a therapy in a sense, because there's been times when I don't know if you say, like, you get lonely, battle maybe depression, some things like that. You got a sense, an outlet. You can get on here and make a video. I can contact my friends I've met. So it's
perfect that you bring that up, because the inspiration for this chat, and I just sent out a link, so somebody else might be jumping in here, but the inspiration for this came out of watching several different people in this community, including myself, have a real feeling of doubt and trying to decide, do I want to keep doing this at all? And
I've been there.
Dealing with the stress and the feelings of obligation to your subscribers, and
that's the biggest part. You feel like you're letting people down when you're not.
And I this is a legitimate, real thing. And I'm not on here to say, like, oh, it's so hard to be a YouTuber, which is ridiculous, right? That's a ridiculous sentence. But I think there's another side, which is, it's very easy to feel guilty when you're not on your channel enough, because you're feeling a real sense of obligation to the people that are willing to even spend their time just watching and listening to your channel. Yeah. And I've heard Joe Ryan talk about this. Kavi's talked about this. I have, taken.
I'm sure we've had several conversations about these things over the.
These are offline and online conversations. And it's a very real side to it. And I think it doesn't get talked about enough, because people feel very much like it's only happening to them.
Yeah. Well, so, that's part of the way things are. People portray perfection, I guess.
And that is a whole other, like, social media element, right?
Right. Most of these people, most everybody has issues, whether you know it or not. There's something, like, I'm not saying we're all the same. We all have different problems, different things, but we try to
problems is a similarity,
right? And we try to pretend like we don't, because we don't want people to look at us like we do, But it really, we all have something going on. Like,
I'd like to welcome another Knight of the Realm. JP from JP's Budget Collecting. Welcome to the first King John's Court here. And we're
Thank you, John. I appreciate that. What's going on, man?
We're discussing in today's live stream, we're looking at the YouTube community and how you feel about your channel and why you're doing this, because I think it's very interesting and there's a lot of similarities.
Sometimes I wonder.
Go ahead.
For me, like every time I post a video, I have doubts about whether I should post it.
Yes.
You know, even now, it's like, what am I doing? It astounds me that any of you guys watch. I just,
I think you'd be surprised also at how many people making these videos feel that way.
Yeah, and the reason I did it to begin with was you guys, and that I want to make sure that comes out the right way is because, like, I was sitting in chats, I was trying to interact, but comic books have always been in isolation for me, if that makes any sense. I've really never had
an isolating hobby. Yeah.
Yeah, when I was younger, there wasn't, in high school and stuff, none of my friends were into comic books. I had one buddy in college that he and I did a lot of, like, he's the one that, like, got me really into, like, actually collecting and buying and, you know, a little more than I had been. But, like, I haven't seen him in years. So it's always been a pretty solitary hobby for me. My sister does it some. She's into comics and that kind of stuff, but she lives in Chicago, and we don't really talk about that. We talk about family stuff.
Sure.
And so it was an outlet to actually talk about something I enjoy, something I care about.
So what I've heard, Jeffrey mentioned it was a chance to, like, push himself out of his comfort zone a little bit. You're mentioning this idea of socializing and having a social outlet. Other people have mentioned a creative outlet. I wanted to read something that Alex said. He said, I struggle immensely with making content that I'm happy with, and it's made me question if I belong on YouTube.
Right, and then TJ says, TJ's comment is like perfect back to that. Like, he says, Alec, if you don't belong here, no one does. Like,
right?
Really, that's my thought too. Like, if
that's
he doesn't
belong
here,
on comment. Yeah, and I think that I'm coming from the same place as all of you. There's definitely I want to push myself and try something here. There's definitely wow, I'm not doing a lot creatively. This is an outlet for that. But I would say I came here first, just like JP. The social side of this was really exciting for me, getting to talk about this stuff because nobody I knew would talk about these things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have any friends who collect comic books or read comic books or anything. And, you know, like, I'm not sure. Maybe you guys have friends who are into the hobby, but it's kind of like, I don't know, like it's a smaller clique than a lot of other things, you know, like
totally.
Yeah. And
now,
you know,
go ahead, JP, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to comment on White Whale saying about, like, whether or not his content belongs. I think that, like, well, but, like, I get where he's coming from, because I think that every time, I think all of my people ask me why, like, they're like, oh, you went live quickly, like, because it was pretty quickly that I started doing live stuff. The live stuff's a little easier because at least I can play off the chat. Like, the recorded stuff is so hard for me because it's just me staring at the camera.
Yes.
And I feel like it's just so stiff that there's nothing natural about the way I'm talking while I'm talking to the camera, that it, you know, so I feel like like everybody, like, I got a bunch of stuff because the top 10 came out today. So I got a bunch of, like, positive feedback again. But, like, every time I record one of those and I edit it, it's almost painful for me.
Yeah. And I think that from what I've seen, the reason why live streams are a lot more popular is partly because of this, the amount of work, but certainly the feeling of, like, okay, every little mistake is going to be magnified because I've chosen it and I've put it in there intentionally. I can't edit out, it's all there now to be seen. Looks like somebody got a haircut, so we're going to jump over there Mr. D Runk Comics. George, how you doing?
Good, man. That's where I was driving to today when I had to stop commenting on your Comics with Kids chat this morning. So,
well, thank you for coming to the comic court here, or the King John's court. We're talking a little bit about like, why do you do this? What are some of the reasons why you have decided to do this YouTube thing?
I like, and I'm not trying to, like snuggle up to anyone when I say this, but I just started watching videos because I started collecting again.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, I could do that. That looks super easy. And I'll give you an example. Like I was watching Bueller's channel. That was like one of my first
person who I was watching when I got started.
Exactly. Yeah, me too.
But I'll say this: when I said that to myself, I could do that. That looks easy. That was one of the dumbest things I'd ever thought to myself, because the very small amount of things that I do on my channel are incredibly time consuming and incredibly difficult. And Bueller does it like 30-fold.
Dude, yeah, the amount of hustle from a guy. I mean, obviously, somewhat retired, but still, yeah, you're totally right. And challenging and impressive.
Yeah. So, and then I didn't realize the social aspect of it until I started doing it. And all of a sudden, like one of the first people that really started reaching out to me was a dude named Steve, who goes by Geeks, Drinks, and Comics. He would just watch every video of mine. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I got like a regular, like, and we started chatting more, like we exchanged phone numbers, we became friends. I got to Steve, big Burke Nasty or Burke Family 54, whatever he calls himself nowadays.
Hashtag stay nasty.
I got to see him at Planet KomiKhan, and I got to see JP at Planet KomiKhan, and I got to see JD from Comic Core over there, and that was just some of the coolest shit I'd ever done,
Yeah,
and just getting like real friends going, and
there's a social side besides the like purchasing side that you mentioned as well, that you, as far as like you're collecting.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, like, this is more of a personal note. I don't talk about it too much, but when I was at Planet KomiKhan, JP heard me say this. I was like, hey, I don't know if I'm going to be on YouTube for a little while here. My mom is in the hospital, and then she passed away shortly after that.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And, that was, we were super close, and it was very unexpected, but,
oh, wow.
getting to do this was so therapeutic.
Oh,
and
wow.
She loved watching me on YouTube. She was so happy that I was doing it. She had her own little fandom that she was a part of online that she was doing. But she was so excited that I got to do this. And she knew that I was doing it before she got sick. And,
cool.
She actually insisted that I go to that comic convention, even though she was in the hospital.
Wow.
And I wasn't going to, just because it didn't feel right. But I knew that my mom would be just furious if she knew that I canceled my trip.
That's such a mom move, right? That's such a mom thing to do.
And when I visited her after I got back from Planet KomiKhan, I got to tell her I went, and she just like started crying like happy tears,
Wow.
And I did like a little video in the hotel room with Burke 54 Family Comics, and she was just happy, and it might have been one of the last moments where she felt that way,
That's
so
awesome.
and you got people in here right now, you got Caleb, that dude just makes me happy every time I see him. I love
watching joy. Yeah,
Yeah,
I want to welcome in Caleb, another knight of the realm coming into the court to chat. How you doing, man?
Dude, I saw King John and I was like, bro, I gotta get in on this.
You look like you're ready to spin some records. So
that was my poor imitation of a record spinning person.
What are some of the reasons, Caleb, that you'd want to do this?
Man, I thought it looked fun, dude. I saw everybody doing shows and hanging out, and I love the live chats. I started doing the regular videos, man, and once I got into yours and Fire Guy Ryan's top 5, bro. That was the greatest thing ever. I was hooked, man. I made that first recorded video for your sock competition.
Yeah.
That was your
dude,
first
it was
recorded
like-
video?
Yeah, I think so.
That's
I
funny. 'cause my
made like
first-
one little 30-second one before that just to see if it worked.
Yeah, my first comic video, it was for Bueller, and it was almost 1 year ago. It's July 18th. So I have a few more weeks, and then it's my anniversary for YouTube for 1 year. But it was like, yeah, I saw the same thing. I saw these cool people. Like, Bueller was so funny and so fun. I want to join in. And he had this contest, and I was like, yeah, I want to do this.
Oh yeah, dude. And as soon as like you start doing it and you start hopping in the chats, dude, like it opens up. That's how like first I found like Comic Storian and Comics Explained, of course, because like you type in comics, they're gonna pop up.
Right.
And then like you start watching that stuff and stuff pops up in your feed, and that's how I found CBSI, Comic Tom, and then you guys, and then I found the Comic Core after that, Alec, and everybody. Man, it was awesome.
And now you have so many channels you can't watch everything.
Dude, I tried to though.
Hey, Jeffrey, would you give the chat a little shout out? Looks like a lot of new people jumped in there.
Yeah, we got my boy Rawhide Comic Bro. What's up tonight? Ed D Comics and Games. Good to see you, Ed D. Thank you for joining us. JM Comics. Good to see you. I don't know if I shouted you out earlier or not, but glad to have you here tonight. Sam I Am Comics. Good to see you tonight. Sam I Am, my boy Tommy Bake the Snake. Good to see you, man. NC Slapjacks. Thanks for joining us tonight. Jack Yo, good to see you tonight, Jack.
There's so many people I missed in there. I appreciate all the shout outs. That's awesome. So,
Jeffrey the Master.
yo, man, he's amazing. And I wanted to mention something. Everybody sort of touched a little bit lightly on the other side, which is like the desire to maybe stop or take a break or what have you. And
Yeah,
I know
I do that all the time.
There's so many reasons, right? I know that D-Runk was talking about, health, yours or somebody else's could be a reason. Lack of just time, right?
Well, I think it's good personally.
Take a break.
Take a break
Sometimes.
But another thing that I wanted to talk about, and I just forgot what I was going to talk about.
Well, just the challenges of doing this, right?
Yeah, for sure. I can't. But yeah, taking a break. We'll just go there. I totally forgot what I was going to say. But
it's fine. If it comes to you, we'll get back.
Yeah, it's good. It is.
Part of it was like I saw Comics NYC did a live stream where he was really talking about shutting down his channel. And I was in the chat and he was really speaking from the heart. And it was really powerful. And I think it all connected to me to something that Alec and I have talked about, and Jeffrey, we've all talked about, is this idea of guilt and feeling like, well, my channel's not good enough. There's no point in doing it. I just want to hang out, and I don't necessarily feel like I'm going. And I've had comment in chats with Bueller where it's similar. You know, he's telling me this is what you got to do to grow your channel. And there's times when I'm like, I don't need to grow my channel. Like I'm not looking to monetize or get sponsors or sell a John box or whatever. What is my goal then? And that it's connected to why are you doing this? And it was, for me, it was like, I'm doing this to socialize and to have a good time. So taking a break is good for that versus if I wanted to monetize or grow my channel, taking a break would severely impact that. How do you guys feel about taking a break? Is there anybody that wants to talk about that balance?
I can start. I'll start. Yeah. For me, it's almost a sense of burnout. Like you can go hard and go hard and go hard, and then sometimes you just fall into like too much. Like it's your focus, right? Like you just focused on YouTube. And for me, it's like everything outside of it just falls apart. So it's more like keeping a sense of being responsible, taking care of your bills first, going to work, coming home, that kind of a thing, as to where it was more about buying books to have on the shows to show off and things like that. So it's really a sense of balance between time, finances, all that stuff for me. It's and taking a break, it can be just like even if it's just like one day for you, if you do it every day. Sometimes just taking one day off to relax and focus
And inversely, like the reality is the people the subscribers that follow you, they care about you. So they're not just going to disappear because you're gone for a week.
Right.
You know what I mean? I feel like that's a real concern, is that you're going to disappoint people.
Well, even let you
for a week.
Yeah, you feel like you're letting them down by not being there. Maybe they're expecting it, you know, because that for so long I was doing something every day, and then it's like you just like I need to rest, you know.
Sure.
I need to shower, I need to eat dinner, you know. I got to do this, and then you feel bad because you missed a show, which I do a lot, and it's you feel bad
all
about
of
it.
us do, for sure.
Right.
JP,
but
how about you, JP? Like, how are you feeling about balancing all these things and feeling like taking time if you need?
You know, to this point, I haven't I need a break hasn't come up, but I have come close a couple of times to deleting my channel. Of just like, why am I doing this? What, you know, people can't really like this, kind of just the self-doubt kind of stuff.
And I think it's surprising how many of YouTubers feel this way.
And I think it is because a little bit of it is, and yes, you talk into the, like, you're getting feedback in the chat on a live stream, and yes, you get comments, but at times it does feel like I'm talking into a vacuum, and it's like, are they just being nice? Do they really, like, is anybody getting anything out of what I'm doing? Am I getting anything out of what I'm doing? And so, you know, from that perspective, that's been the bigger struggle for me, is to like figure out that no, people actually like seem to like what I'm doing, which I guess like understand.
That first thumbs down, right?
Yeah.
The impact of those thumbs down is
I remember what I was going to say.
I
remember what I was going to say. One of the hardest things too, since I started my YouTube channel, is finding that line where you enjoy watching. Like, sometimes you make so much content, when you're done making your content, you don't. I have a hard time sitting there and going back and watching my stuff I'm subscribed to. Like, it's just
and that's what
I need to get away from the whole space of it.
Sam I am saying the same thing. There's a fine line between it being fun and being a chore, right?
Yeah, I guess that would be the thing, because when I start feeling burnout, even like just doing videos, like I'm burnt out on watching videos. I'm burnt out on sitting at the desk working. You know, like I get burnt out on just like everything to do with it, and then that's when I take my time away. And like I said, there's times when you're just like, you know what? I wake up in the morning, and first thing I think of when I get out of bed is I'm done. Like, I'm done with everything. And then, like, why? I don't even know why. Maybe that's my like ADD. When I wake up, I don't know what the hell is going on. But you know, like, sometimes it gets to you.
Yeah, and there's also a guilt, like you're saying, for missing out on other people's channels. Like,
no, yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to say. Is like, you feel bad for not watching.
They're going to be so hurt that I didn't watch their video and comment on it. You know, it's so hard. I understand all that. What about? I'll go back to George. Is any of this? I know your channel is it's growing fast. What are you at now? You're at
like 284, I think.
Almost 300, right?
Yeah. So for me, like, one of the things that I decided kind of early on is I didn't want to get into any kind of episodic format, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but you know, because I'm telling you, like, you look at JP right there. I guarantee you, whether he admits it or not, he feels a little bit of pressure to do his top 10 look back.
Sure,
it's such a popular video.
I'll agree to that too. Like, with my pursuit of hulkiness and things like that, like you feel the pressure, and then you miss one show, and then it's like, oh well, I can miss another one. You know, then it's like you're trying to play catch up sometimes. But yeah.
So for me, I don't want to feel the commitment. You know, like I'm gonna get in there and make a video. And that's usually my preferred format of like doing a YouTube. It's not going live, and I don't mind doing a live stream, but almost every time you see me live, it's on someone else's channel. For most of my content, like, I'm generally recording a video. I really like the fun of editing it afterwards, but I want to make that video when I have something to talk about, something to show off that I enjoy, that I personally like collecting. And that's where, for me, I've never really felt burnt out from YouTube. The only thing I've ever really taken a break on was saying, like, would I have bought that book before I had my YouTube channel?
The
And
spec buying kind of stuff.
not even, yeah, it's just like I stopped though. Like I literally like I didn't even do a new comic book day video this week because my comic book haul was like 2 books, and I wasn't going to do a video on that, you know.
And
like,
this is a little bit of window shopping, right? You're talking about seeing all these channels. There's definitely a window shopping element to this.
Absolutely. I think I was watching somebody in Kachung and Delphia were on their show, and they were talking about that same thing. It's hard to sit there all day watching people show books and not want to go out and buy them. So,
Absolutely, yeah. Caleb, you look like you had something you wanted to offer on this topic of taking breaks, balancing things.
Well,
Oh,
like you
yeah.
started with, it all depends on what you want to do with your channel. If you're trying to get subscribers and turn it into a business, you definitely don't want to take a break. You want to pump out as many quality videos as possible at a consistent rate so people can actually follow you.
And I will say
Now-
that's the best advice to anybody trying to do this. And Bueller's been hammering me on this since the beginning. He's like, you need smaller videos. You need to do them regularly. Live streams don't help. So anybody trying to make a real business out of this, that's the grind or the key. So you're totally right, Caleb. Yeah,
for sure. But like what we've got going, we've got a community where it's pretty much, this is when people get off work, they want to come hang out with the guys from the comic book community and talk about comics. My favorite part of it, of getting on YouTube, is talking about the stories that I just read, like the books that I picked up and read, or the stories that me and a couple guys are reading together, or the stories that somebody told me to read.
sure.
That's where I get my most enjoyment out of it. And yeah, I would like to continue doing YouTube and stuff. And man, you can't tell me it wouldn't be awesome to get free trips to comic conventions just to, review books and stuff like that.
Or
because
having
you've got an
there's
following.
having a sponsor,
nothing wrong with it at all.
having
I would love
sponsors and all
doing
these
that.
things would be amazing, right? But at the same time, like
But it's the
the
daily
commitment,
grind
the
videos
effort.
that I'm not committed for.
Yeah, I mean, I am always blown away by people like Bueller, people like Tom, people like Reggie, Perry,
See, Reggie
Joe
I
Ryan in
like how
comics.
Reggie is scheduled and structured. That's what makes it work. If you can set up a structured schedule, you can pretty much do anything, and it's actually enjoyable. But whenever you don't have a schedule and stuff, it definitely is hard.
Yeah, it's hard, and I know that generally, as a rule, if you look at there's all the analytics, which is one of the most stressful
I stay
parts.
away from that stuff,
Dude,
man.
It's a rabbit's hole. Don't go in the analytics section for your channel.
Dude. Heck no.
It's so deadly. But like you go in there and you see, like, sometimes usually for me at least, the videos I work the hardest on score the worst. Like they have the least amount of views.
My Dark Phoenix review, damn it.
Dude, yeah, I watched
that
by
was
the way
so
all the way to
good,
the end.
dude. If I could just save one person from going to see this shitty movie. I feel like I've done my job.
You don't know
Dude, that,
too much.
I
You gotta
died.
go check out his Dark Phoenix review because it's spot on.
The auctions are what gets the most views on my channel, and coincidentally, they're the only thing that's ever got dislikes on my channel.
And I think that that's a great point too. I was discussing this with Alec the other day, and there's some great comments in the chat. People like I saw Hialeah saying he feels like he was the only one having these stresses and doubts. Bear Island saying, he's always feeling that pressure to churn out content, that he's making content for the community. He used to want the subs. Now he just wants validation. I totally agree with all of that. But Alec was talking to me about like why a channel would grow. Because at certain phases, it's like maybe it's the novelty, somebody new in this point of view you want to be hearing. Sometimes it's like they're offering a kind of content that you want to be getting regularly.
Exactly. That's the key. The key is having something that a lot of people want to see. And
then broadening your channel to hit more targets, So I've never done an auction. I know that there's a group of people that if I were to start doing auctions would tune into my channel more because they want to be there in case that happens, and they subscribe because they want to be there. And I totally respect that. I don't know that I would do a great job at that, but I'd be it's never been anything that I've been going after. But like, you could see that people like Big Lion Cat is an amazing auction runner. That guy is spot on. And it is, you can see how it has been a great way to grow his channel, that logging into that idea.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Aggressively Relaxing has jumped in. Thank you for coming by. I make the weirdest thing I can think of and no one watches. It's great. And I think this goes to something that I really wanted to get to from the beginning, which is, we say buy what you read or buy what you like. I would say there's another side to this, which is make content you would watch.
Well, then what am I doing?
That's why I like live streams so much, man.
I can't hardly watch my stuff.
I would watch, Comic Court, or I would watch The List, or because the reason I do these shows is because I want to watch I want to hear TJ the Slab Dragon tell me the books that are on his list. I want to see that show, right? I want to see Drew Manchu lose his crap because he's trying to talk about Heroes in Crisis. I want to see that. So that's what drives me these days is I want to make a show that I would like to sit in the chat and watch. And I think sometimes people are pumping out stuff and they're not enjoying it versus I swear one of my favorite channels right now is Joe Ryan Comics. That every freaking thing that guy does, he's enjoying.
Oh, dude, Joe is the man, dude. Joe is like my hero.
I love that guy.
He's a cool dude.
So is there a channel where you guys are watching where you feel like, and I'll go to JP first, where you watch a channel and you're like, this person is having a blast and I really enjoy watching them?
Well, other than the people on this panel, you mean?
Yeah, right. You don't have to pick Caleb because he's right there.
There's so many. Well, I want to say, because he was winning validation, I'll say Bear Island. Like, we were having the conversation last night after his song video for Comic Con.
I just watched it today. I finally got to watch it today. So funny.
And I've seen it a couple times now.
Yeah, but he does like his humor. I know his humor at the expense of D-Ronk is always spot on.
Oh my god!
But
dude, all he needs is a pair of fake glasses, and he nailed that cosplay.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. He definitely needed fake glasses. That's why D-Ronk got a haircut today, just because of that cosplay from last.
The funniest part about that is after he made that video, like I hit him up on Instagram. I was like, dude, I don't really know if the Comic Core knows who I am. Like, we don't interact much at all. Like obviously the singing and the video editing, like his video was fantastic.
Oh my god,
but with D-Ronk Comics, like I don't know if I made it there yet to where that's the selling point to take me to Baltimore. God damn it!
Pretty well on your editing, bro. You guys do, man. But I give props to people that will actually lay over pictures on their video and like have the zooming in slowly and zooming out slowly on the picture while they're talking, because dude, that takes freaking time to do all that crap, bro. And I am
absolutely. But he was talking about that he doesn't put out a lot of content, but he puts so much effort and thought into everything he puts out. Like, and that's the kind of stuff that, like, boy, I wish I would be better at that. Like, that keeps me going to like, maybe I can be better. I can do more things like that. And obviously, just from enthusiasm, I mean, Caleb is like, you can't possibly watch a video of Caleb and not be enthusiastic about something.
This morning I'm getting ready to go live. It's like 30 minutes. It's 30 minutes to when I'm going live. He jumps in the chat. He's like, do I have time to go get my fruit snacks? And I'm like, brother, you get your fruit snacks. En route, he's sending me videos. Gonna get some fruit snacks. Gonna get some fruit snacks. My girls are dying. They're laughing so hard. And then he's like, I got my fruit snacks. 45 seconds. I'm gonna be in my driveway. It was like the joy was legit. It was.
Dude, I love my Saturday morning comics with John's Comics with Kids, dude. That's my jam, bro.
I'll tell you, it pumped all of us up. Even if Charlie and Kate were falling asleep, they were laughing their butts off.
Yeah. So
what about you? Sorry, go ahead, JP.
No, go ahead. So
I was gonna jump over to Jeffrey. Like, Jeffrey, who is it that pumps you up or whatever, that you watch their channel and you're like, they make me laugh, or they've got an enthusiasm with their channel?
Well, if you just want to just talk about being pumped up, like working with Tony Sanders always gets me going. But some channels that like I really just like to kick back and watch are like Comic Head 84, Chad 90MF Comics, two great guys.
They've got a lot of great energy too.
Yeah, there's a lot of positivity coming out of their channels. Stuff like that, man. Like I like watching like those guys and all of these guys up here. But if we're just talking about content that I really, really appreciate, and just the way it's brought out, they're always in a good mood, talking good things. So those are probably some of my favorites.
Alex says he's going to shave his beard before Baltimore so nobody recognizes him.
And Alec too. Like I just figured Alec was a known. Everybody would be on everybody's list.
It's funny though. That assumption I find very interesting because like I legitimately discovered Joe Ryan like 4 months ago or whatever. Like here's a guy with thousands of subscribers and I had never noticed him or heard of him. And then all of a sudden it was like somebody cued me into this and I'm like, how have I been living on YouTube without this? And I know there are more like that.
Oh yeah, there's definitely some more out there, dude, for sure. And another thing you got to remember, like with Bear Islands and stuff, dude, people don't start picking up increasing followers till after about the first year or right before the end of the first year. And that's once you break that like 900 or 1,000 subscribers, you get posted more places and you get seen by more people. And then that's when your subscriber count takes off. You could put a lot of work into a video and it not get any views right now. But once your channel gets popular, people see that video could go viral. You never know. Definitely.
I think there are levels where it's like, okay, it's easier to grow right here, and then you stagnate. It's harder to continue after, and then you get to. I'd like to imagine you get to a certain level, and it's sort of self-perpetuating as long as you continue to produce content. I don't know, George, were you going to say something there?
Oh no, I was just going to say that I always enjoyed Comic Head 84, watching his channel.
Definitely.
Bear Island
for sure.
Yeah, Bear Island, like. So some like me and him, like we spar with each other verbally in our videos, and a few people have asked if it's legitimate. It's not. It's out of like admiration and respect. Like we both like give each other a high five over Instagram afterwards because
it's fun. I do the same with Chad 90 Miles from Comics. I throw haymakers at that guy. It's a blast.
Oh, I throw haymakers at that guy every chance I get. That's fun.
I was actually thinking about doing my CGC reveal and doing a shout to D-Runk and freaking Bear and being like, look, y'all need to start collecting real books like Marvel and then bust out the FF48. Dude. But I was like, nah, that'd be kind of too.
Do it, man. I need more heat, man. Hit me with it.
Bear Allen says that I discovered his channel when he sent me an AOK. Too funny, brother. And Alec makes another great comment. I don't want to compliment him too much. He says the idea of having something like 3,000 subs would gives him anxiety, and I could see that the increase in subscribers could increase that anxiety. In fact, I remember Reggie or somebody posting on Instagram the comment. Somebody had sent him a message on Instagram, and it said, what kind of a guy won't subscribe to you when you subscribe to them? And it was like legit. This person was upset that Reggie wasn't following them. And in my head, I'm thinking, how can he keep up with 3,000 people or whatever? That's unrealistic, right? And there's a lot of things as far as like, how do I watch all these people's videos and say hi and make them feel like they're connected and they're part of what I'm doing. And for somebody like Bueller, that's got to be really challenging. I commend him on how often I see him in chats and things.
Yeah, that's something that at first when I started like commenting on people's videos and when I started making videos of my own, I didn't really get at first how hard it was for like, why don't people like respond to me or feedback or follow me and stuff. And then it was like, I quickly realized as people started following my channel, I'm like, I can't keep track of everybody's stuff. It's impossible.
Yeah.
And I feel bad. There's people that make videos that always are commenting on my stuff. And I have a hard time like getting to watch all their videos and I feel like I should, and I should support all their channels as much as they support mine. And I just don't have the time to watch everybody's stuff.
it's a reality, you know. And I wanted to shout out Kachung, who's got a great comment. He's like, subscribe to what you love, watch what you love, create what you love, read what you love. Yeah, there is that like self-perpetuating side to this where, but at the same time, when you have that many things you love, and Mike, I've got a giant reading box here that I'm slowly eating away at, but I never have time to read all that I love. And it's the same with watch. You know, there's so many channels that I just never have the time to catch every video. It's hard. Let me get back to my list here.
But they're always going to still be there too, man.
That's a great point
These
too.
videos ain't going nowhere unless the people delete them themselves. So,
well, that's the thing. I will say, like, the main reason I wanted this to be our first topic of discussion was I wanted to get to this nugget or this element, which is that even if you feel like I don't have the time right now, you know, there's a job crisis, a family crisis, or whatever.
There's always life problems.
You don't need to shutter your channel to take a break. Like your loyal friends will be there, even if like it's 2 months later and you're finally feeling like I have time again for this. I wanted somebody like Kavi, who was really considering shuttering his channel, to feel like,
yeah, I've talked to him about.
I don't want you to feel like you have to leave because you don't have the time right now. Because that's the reality. I cannot imagine firstly, I can't imagine a channel called John's Comics with Kids lasting through the teenage years. But like, I also can't imagine like that it would be a consistent all the time.
You could turn it to John's Comics with Chicks.
It's going to be John's Comics with Kids who don't want to spend time with him anymore.
Yes.
So like, I want people to understand your channel can evolve, and the time that you can donate to it will evolve and fluctuate. And it doesn't need to be a thing where you feel an immense guilt. I think that my goal is to lessen that guilt feeling.
Yeah, well, yeah, you definitely shouldn't feel guilt about not being able to watch something for sure.
And
because we're all just people, dude. We're all just people making videos in our spare time, really, if you think for the most part.
Yeah.
I just do it really now to hang out. I had big dreams, you know, of course. Oh, I'm going to be famous one day because I'm making cool ass videos. Yeah, that lasted about 2 months.
You probably will be, Caleb.
Yeah,
like, the reason I love it so much is the community that I've found, dude. I've made so many good friends in the community via making videos and talking to people in live chats, bro. That is where it all started, was talking to people in live chats.
Yeah, no, like for sure. And that was one thing, like I was like worried, like, will I even get a subscriber? You know, like when I first started, and then I had like 10 of them, and I was like, yeah, all right, 10 people.
Dude, anybody would let you on their show, Jeffrey. You are one of the kings of shouting the chat, bro.
But you know, this is the thing. You know, everybody has those doubts, though. Even the Jeffreys and the Buellers and the whatever, like. Does anybody care if I'm even in this chat room? You know?
Yeah.
And I agree, chat is the best place to start off. And that's where I would go. I'd jump into a Comic Tom live stream or a Bueller live stream or a Reggie live stream. And it was like, this is fun. Although admittedly, Reggie had like 200 subscribers. So it was like, it was a small channel. And I was like, he's just funny and he does silly stuff. And, you know.
Yeah, that channel was.
Dude, I remember when Tom only had like 150 subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's how like it started for me too, just like being in the chats, and like I started commenting on like Bueller's videos, and he like commented back to me, and then we like were messaging and did just, you know, things like seeing the same faces like John's Comics with Kids in chats, you know, seeing other people like Tony Sanders and JD in chats and things like that, you know, and then eventually we all kind of started making videos. And
the other side of it too is like, so I want to go to a channel, talk about just a little bit here at the end because I want to wrap up. Just a channel like the Comic Core, which the goal is to have other people coming and then creating content on that channel. And if I guess technically I have 3 shows on that channel, but really it's just the one weekly show, the unlimited show, but like the list and the comic court and all these things, like, sure, I would love to have those things on my channel. Maybe it would help me grow or whatever. But at the same time, I'm like, there's something fun about participating in this other community element You know, I think it's amazing what Chad and Legend and Cat Ren and Seawood have kind of created over there, because it's this community like within a community. It's very unusual. And Alec and I've talked a lot about like, ooh, wouldn't it be cool to have StoryCorps on your own channel? And there would be huge benefits to that. Obviously, with Alec at like 1,000 subscribers, he would have a lot more views there. The question becomes like, well, what is the purpose of doing the show, or what is the purpose of having that channel? You know, it's an interesting, I don't know. It's a philosophical debate, I guess.
No, I know exactly what you're saying, because like I'm on like 4 live streams and none of them are on my channel. But at the same time, I feel like it's better sometimes to stick to one channel, because that's what people get accustomed to. Like sometimes switching back and forth the same show on 2 separate channels, I feel like could hurt
out on it. That
exactly. I feel like that could hurt it. If people are watching this, you're hoping that no matter what channel it's on, they know you have your own, and you're hoping that they're going to check you out on the side, kind of thing, you know?
Well, and I know that when we started
even
doing
vice versa, if you have a bigger channel on the side, your people will start following them.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Well, when Alec and I started doing book club, we had a lot of complaints from people that were saying, just put it on one person's channel, because I don't know where it's going to be each night. I don't know what's going on. I can't be here or there. And it was like, our attitude was like, then subscribe to both, because I like his channel, he likes mine. Let's just show up, you know?
In my opinion, the more comic book review channels or New Comic Book Day reviews or StoryCorps or Trade in Waiting or whatever the shows may be, the more we talk about comics and how freaking awesome they are, the more of the normies that just watch the movies are going to be scrolling looking for trailer views or whatever, or trailer previews, and then they're going to see one of our videos and they're going to click on it and be like, hey dude, comic books really are cool.
Well, and I think that connects to the reading side, like reading first.
Oh yeah.
So that if you're doing reviews, that's so closely connected to reading. It's not simply hot news of the day or whatever, but you can get into like the whole point, which is we were all gotten into this because we liked what we were reading.
Oh yeah. And dude, comics are medicine, dude.
Absolutely.
Can brighten your day, bro. They can
let's
get rid of some bored time that you've got, dude. They can do so many things.
Well, let's finish with this idea then, Caleb, because I'm going to start with you then. What has being in this community done for you?
Oh, dude, I've gained so many more friends. All right. I've got a previous history. I was a drug addict for a long time. I've been sober for 5 years now, over 5 years.
Congratulations.
So I don't hang out with any of my like real life friends because I don't do well. It's been proven time and time again. I don't do well with my real life friends. So dude, meeting y'all here is like the perfect symbiotic relationship. It's so freaking awesome.
So, and then George, what about you? How has being in this community been a benefit to you?
Hey, you know, we kind of touched on it earlier. There's you have your friends in you know, in real life, and none of those friends for me collect comic books.
Same here.
Exactly.
And I've got a ton of people now that I can message on Instagram, I can text, I can, do a live stream with, that I can actually talk about something I'm passionate about. And I can go to work tomorrow and, talk to 100 people about the new Spider-Man movie,
Right.
But I can't talk to a single one of them about the new Spider-Man comic book. And I want to talk to people about the comic book. And I didn't even know that was going to happen when I started doing this channel, but that's what I've gotten out of it. And if I don't get another subscriber, if I lose all of my subscribers, I'm still winning by having those connections. So
exactly.
That is spot on, brother. That was amazing. I fully agree. JP, how about you? What has being in this community sort of done for you?
How do I follow that?
You don't have to,
George, yeah, you can just say ditto and then we'll move on. No,
what he said? There's that aspect of it that I feel like has been a very, making all these contacts and I still struggle a little bit with the whole like figuring out the Instagram side of this, which seems to be as big, if not bigger, than the YouTube side. But being able to talk to people about this kind of stuff, all of that has been a big deal. But also just kind of the support I've received for like trying. Like, I'm not someone who typically puts myself out there the way I have by doing this channel. Like, go to a certain degree, making videos, you're going out on a limb and like putting yourself out there in a way I don't normally do. And the positive feedback that I've gotten from everyone has meant so much, and I can't even like keep a straight thought now with that going on in the corner.
Yeah. No, I until D-Runk showed up there. No, I agree that there's that side of it where you feel like I'm going outside my comfort zone.
Right. And
absolutely, yes.
And
George doesn't know anything about that.
For me.
I agree, and you should feel good about doing it. I think. Like,
what about you, Jeffrey? What has been some of the positives that you've gotten out of being in this community?
I mean, same like everybody said, the relationships, the friends, for one. Part of it's like beating a fear, like we talked about earlier. You're just getting over the fear of it, and sometimes you're like, you just don't think that you could do it. Like, I've spent 35 years of my life being afraid of taking pictures and being on camera and all this stuff. And then now here I am with a freaking YouTube channel, like, so, yeah, that was one of the biggest hurdles to get over. Then the relationships are amazing. I met some amazing people. I work with amazing people. I spend a lot of time alone, and I think that maybe not a lot of us, but I think I'm not the only one. That's why we do what we do to begin with, I think. And it helps a lot, because when you sit around alone, like, I mean, me, like, I'm usually generally a pretty happy person, but like, when you spend a lot of time by yourself, it's not always good. Like,
definitely not,
like, dude. Depression, getting caught in your head, things like that. Like, when I first started, I was at a really bad point. I'd been hurt. I got freaking electrocuted. And I was at home for like a year and going crazy.
I think a lot of people that I've spoken to offline have had similar experiences where they found YouTube at a difficult time, and we're dealing with, like you're saying, depression, a bunch of other things, divorce or what have you, and it was an outlet. And I know that Matt Thanatos has been very open about that and how it was a big help to him at that time. And I totally agree. That's the best side of it I can think of, is that
I agree.
Healing beyond just shits and giggles. That it's actually like valuable. And then of course you've got D-Runk and his costume there, which I can't not talk about now. I'm just gonna leave the camera on George here at the end.
No, so like, I was just reading the comments, and Bear started inflating my ego over there, saying, do I give speeches for a living? Like, I went to my best friend's wedding recently, and I had to do a speech, and I didn't know I had to do a speech, and I winged it. Out of the blue, and I literally got like a standing ovation afterwards, and like I just like I literally like had the mic, and I was like, normally I would drop this right now, but it looks kind of fragile. I'm just gonna say it.
And Bear Island says that people at his work would never believe that he have a YouTube channel because it seems so out of character. And I think that there's definitely a lot of truth to it. More people than you would believe.
I don't even tell people I have a YouTube channel.
I've only got like 3 local followers.
I kept it a secret from my family for so long until I went to Palm Desert and had to do it in front of my brothers, and they started messing around behind me. And now it's like a thing. And my dad shows up for live streams and stuff. He's so awesome. He's always been a real supporter, but he was like, he was legit mad. Like, why are you keeping this a secret? Like, I want to watch. And then he goes around to his friends and he's like, sign up for my son's YouTube. And I'm like, Dad, this is not like, don't.
Right.
And that's why I didn't. That's probably why I didn't tell him about it. But yeah, I think there's a part of it that's like, yeah, I'm connecting, but at the same time, like I like that it's this group of people. I've sort of chosen to be with this group, you know.
Well, and think about this real quick. Jeffrey, you're talking about like you don't tell anyone that you have a YouTube channel, and Bear was saying that
especially the ladies.
no one at his work would even know that he had it because it's so out of character for him. Like in person, like Jeffrey, you might not be the type of person that would want to hang out with me. And I don't mean that but I'm very outgoing, I'm energetic, and I'm very personable. Like I'll talk to strangers, like none of that stuff bothers me. But because of what we do here, we get to interact with different types of people that we wouldn't normally talk to.
Right. That our paths probably would have never crossed any other way, I agree.
It's such a cool thing. It's just, like there's some people where like doing like this kind of thing is not natural for them, but they're breaking their comfort. Yeah.
That's big, man.
For me, like really like what I wanted to do originally was do cell phone reviews.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about like comic books being an expensive thing to review? Doing cell phone reviews where you have to buy like every freaking cell phone. That thing is like, and I'm not going to do that. I care about comic books more than cell phone reviews, but it's such a cool thing to just interact with different types of people and that have similar interests. So it's a lot of fun.
Agree.
Bear, I was saying, no, I was telling you guys, I tell people at my work that I have a YouTube channel and they don't believe me. They're like, what? Show me.
I think it's a running joke.
Oh,
that's
I just read it. Hey, when I'm wearing these sunglasses for my costume, I can't see the chat very well. Like, there's a sacrifice that is made when I put these on. And it's my eyesight.
Those are great.
Oh my gosh. Well, I want to thank you in the chat for joining me for the King John's Court the very first time. This is going to be something that I do again, certainly this summer, and when I have more free time, I'd like to do more of these. I really want to thank all of you for joining us here. So we have Jason from JP Budget Collecting, you got Jeffrey KomiKhan Henson, you got George from D-Run Comics, and Caleb the Comic Smurf. I'm going to add the links to the other three guys because I didn't know who was going to join in. So I'll add the links to their channels below. So if you're watching this on the replay, it's all going to be right down below. But they've been talking in the chat as well, so you can definitely click on their name and go to their channel right away. But I really appreciate everybody making the time. And if you have any questions about any of the stuff that we're talking about, if you've got concerns about your channel and what's going on, just drop any of us a line on Instagram or leave a comment. We'll get back to you.
Yeah, hit me up for sure.
I am not here for any of you. Do not do that. No. Boundaries. I'm kidding. I love everyone. Hit me up. I'll chat with anyone.
You need to bring your sign with you in every location you film at.
Yeah, right.
Those guys that like big butts, they cannot lie. That's the best sign in the world.
It's honest as they come in.
Genius.
Yeah.
Oh, heck yeah, dude.
My wife is that genius, so she put that up there.
That's a good one to marry then.
That freaking letter, dude. Any wife that would write that letter, dude, 84, bro. I about died. I'm a wreck driving home.
She took down my D-Run because I had D-Run Comics on there, because that's where I would do all my videos. And she took that down. No, and I kid you not, because family was coming over. She put up, always trust people who like big butts that cannot lie. Like, what?
That's awesome.
Oh my god. All right. Well, thank you everybody and have a great night. I hope to see you guys all again soon.
Yeah, thank you everyone.
Night.